They want you weak. They want you obedient. They will tell you that focusing on yourself is selfish, that strength comes from serving everyone else. This is the greatest lie of power. Weakness is born from distraction. When your energy is scattered across the noise of others, you become small. But when you turn inward, when you master yourself with ruthless discipline, you become untouchable. Niccolo Machiavelli knew that a man who cannot command himself cannot command anyone else. Self-discipline is not kindness to yourself, it is cruelty to your weakness. Every excuse you make, every temptation you indulge, every delay you allow is an act of treason against your own rise. Kill weakness daily. Sharpen your mind into a blade, bend your emotions into submission, make your body obey without hesitation. Self-discipline is not about comfort, it is about control, and control is power. Number 1. The law of sacrifice. Power is never free, it is purchased through sacrifice. Every man who has risen to command, every empire that has endured, was built not only on victories, but on what was given up along the way. To imagine that greatness can be reached without cost is the delusion of the weak. The truth is harsher. You cannot hold on to everything and still expect to rise above everyone. The weak cling to their comfort. They cannot part with their pleasures, their distractions, or their dependence on others' approval, and so they remain chained. Soft men rot inside their own indulgence, slaves to appetites that strip them of strength. The disciplined man is different. He understands that what he surrenders today becomes the foundation of what he will command tomorrow. To him, sacrifice is not a loss, it is a weapon. Niccolo Machiavelli taught that rulers are not crowned because of what they gained, but because of what they were willing to abandon. Comfort must die. Distraction must be cut out. The need for validation must be buried. Discipline demands it. If you want to rise, you must strip yourself bare, burning away every weakness until only steel remains. This is the law of sacrifice. Sacrifice your sleep because the hours before dawn belong to the ambitious. Sacrifice your distractions because attention is the rarest and most powerful resource in a world drowning in noise. Sacrifice your need for approval because the man who bends to opinion has already surrendered his crown. Every indulgence denied is proof that nothing owns you. Every temptation resisted strengthens your control. Look at the masses. They feed themselves with endless entertainment, lust, and laziness. They waste their lives chasing comfort and then envy the men who rise above them. But you, if you embrace sacrifice, will not walk their path. You will turn silence into focus, denial into strength, loss into transformation. Sacrifice is not punishment. It is the initiation into power. The coward fears what he will lose. The strategist only calculates what he will gain. Discipline is not about keeping everything. It is about cutting away what corrupts you. And once you understand that, sacrifice becomes liberation, the proof that you are no longer owned by weakness, but by yourself. Number 2, mastery of time. Time is the rarest currency of power, and yet it is the one men waste the most. Every second you lose is gone forever, and every wasted moment is a gift to the enemy that wants you weak. Power belongs not to the man with talent or ambition alone, but to the man who rules his hours with the cruelty of a tyrant. Discipline is measured in how you treat time, whether you command it or let it command you. The masses treat time as if it were endless. They drift, distracted, drowning in entertainment, convinced that tomorrow will always come. But tomorrow is not guaranteed. Death moves closer with every tick of the clock, and hesitation is its most loyal ally. The weak man hesitates, delays, and promises himself he will act someday. Someday never arrives. His life dissolves into a collection of wasted hours, scattered and forgotten. The disciplined man sees time differently. He treats each hour like a soldier under his command, deployed with precision, given strict purpose, never wasted on weakness. He does not wait for motivation. He acts because action itself is his law. He does not wait for the perfect moment. He bends the moment into obedience. Niccolò Machiavelli knew that hesitation is the silent death of rulers. Those who pause lose the advantage, and those who delay become prey. Mastery of time is not simply about being busy. It is about being intentional. Every task, every silence, every breath is bent toward your rise. Mornings are not wasted in confusion. They are forged into rituals of clarity and strength. Nights are not drowned in indulgence. They are fortified with reflection and strategy. To rule time is to strip away everything that steals it. Distractions must be slaughtered. Weak routines must be destroyed. Every minute must either sharpen you or advance you, nothing in between. Understand this truth. The man who treats time casually will always kneel before the man who treats time as a weapon. Discipline means chaining your minutes, enslaving your hours, and making every day bend toward power. Time does not serve you. It devours you. And the ruthless man, the Machiavellian man, is the only one strong enough to make time his servant instead of his executioner. Number 3. Command of emotion. Emotion is the chain that binds weak men. Anger blinds them, fear paralyzes them, desire enslaves them. They call it passion, they call it humanity, but in truth it is weakness disguised as virtue. Power does not belong to the man who feels deeply. It belongs to the man who feels yet remains unmoved. Self-discipline means you command your emotions with the same cruelty you command your time. Look at the masses. They are tossed around by every impulse, laughing when the crowd laughs, raging when the mob rages, weeping when the world tells them to mourn. They are predictable, and predictability is the death of power. Niccolò Machiavelli understood this. He knew that rulers must appear to feel, but never be ruled by what they feel. Emotion may be worn as a mask, but never allowed to take the throne within. The disciplined man does not kill emotion. He harnesses it. Anger becomes fuel for precision. Fear becomes a signal to prepare. Desire becomes sharpened into drive. But none of these hold the reins. He decides when to unleash fire and when to sit in silence. This is not suppression, it is mastery. To suppress emotion is to bury it until it explodes. To master it is to chain it, bend it, and turn it into an obedient weapon. Consider how many men fall because of unchecked emotion. One word spoken in anger destroys years of influence. One moment of fear costs them opportunities they will never see again. One indulgence of desire ruins empires, families, and reputations. History is littered with kings who lost their crowns because they could not command themselves. Discipline demands that you are never ruled by impulse. You act from strategy, not from feeling. Coldness is not a flaw, it is protection. The world wants you reactive, emotional, predictable, because a predictable man is easy to manipulate. But the man who can sit in silence while others rage, who can remain calm when others panic, who can smile when others provoke, that man is untouchable. Emotion is the servant of the disciplined, never the master. Command your emotions, and you will command not only yourself, but all who are ruled by theirs. Number 4. Isolation and focus. The crowd is the enemy of clarity. Surrounded by noise, a man cannot hear himself think. Surrounded by opinions, he cannot trust his own judgment. Surrounded by the constant pull of others, his will weakens, his edge dulls, and his path bends toward mediocrity. The truth is brutal. No man becomes powerful while drowning in the crowd. Power is not found in the masses. It is built in silence, in the discipline of separation, and in the ruthless act of isolation. The weak fear being alone. They suffocate in solitude because silence exposes their emptiness. Without distraction, they are forced to face the truth of who they are, and most cannot bear it. So they drown themselves in noise. Music always playing, screens always glowing, voices always buzzing. They hide in the crowd because the crowd demands nothing of them. But the man of discipline knows better. He does not run from silence. He embraces it. He does not fear solitude. He thrives in it. In isolation, he studies himself like a strategist studying an enemy. In solitude, he refines his habits, strengthens his will, and builds the fortress of his mind. Niccolò Machiavelli understood that rulers must sometimes vanish to remain unpredictable. Leaders who expose themselves constantly become easy to read, easy to control, and easy to destroy. Discipline demands distance. It demands the ability to pull away from the herd, to strip away the chatter, and to return sharper than before. Focus cannot survive in chaos. It must be protected with cruelty. Isolation is not weakness, it is concentration. You are not escaping the world. You are constructing the strength to bend it when you return. Every hour spent alone in discipline is an investment that multiplies. While the crowd wastes itself in shallow pleasures, you sharpen your purpose into a blade. While they scatter their attention, you condense yours into pure fire. This is the difference between the forgotten and the feared. Understand this: the world worships distraction. It rewards men who entertain themselves to death, who flood their minds with noise until they are incapable of deep thought. That is why focus has become the rarest and most valuable resource. The disciplined man guards it like treasure. He does not open his doors to every voice. He does not give his attention freely. His time, his energy, his mind. These are his weapons, and they are reserved only for what strengthens his rise. This is the law of isolation and focus. Step away from the crowd, master your silence, and forge your mind in solitude. When you return, you will not be the same man. You will return colder, sharper, and untouchable, while the crowd remains lost in their own noise. Number 5, the discipline of silence. Silence is not absence. Silence is not weakness. Silence is power in its purest form. The man who talks endlessly reveals his mind, but the man who holds his tongue reveals nothing, and that nothing terrifies. In silence, there is mystery, and mystery is the currency of control. Weak men despise silence. It unsettles them. It forces them to confront their own thoughts, their own inadequacies, their own fragility. So they talk, they ramble, they fill the air with noise to distract themselves and to convince others that they matter. But in truth, their words betray them. Every sentence they spill is a confession. Their fears, their desires, their insecurities, they leak all of it through their mouths. Niccolò Machiavelli understood this deeply. He wrote of rulers who revealed too much, who exposed their hand before striking, who surrendered their advantage by trying to explain themselves. A ruler, he warned, must know when to speak, but above all, when to remain silent. Because silence unsettles, silence manipulates, silence forces others into positions of weakness. Think of silence as a battlefield. The undisciplined rush forward with words as weapons, swinging wildly, exposing their position. The disciplined waits in stillness, saying nothing, watching everything. When the time is right, he strikes with precision, and one word from him cuts deeper than 1,000 from his opponent. Observe the ordinary man in a conversation. He cannot endure even 2 seconds of quiet. He laughs nervously. He fills the space with meaningless chatter. He interrupts. Why? Because silence makes him vulnerable. In silence, his mind races. Do they judge me? Do they think I'm weak? Do they think I have nothing to say? His insecurity devours him. So he talks, and in talking, he reveals everything. The weak man doesn't realize that every unnecessary word lowers his value. The more he explains himself, the smaller he becomes. The more he justifies himself, the more he appears guilty. The more he talks, the more predictable he becomes. Predictability is the death of power. The disciplined man is different. He speaks rarely, but when he does, Every word is deliberate. He has trained himself to embrace silence, to let others expose themselves while he remains unreadable. He doesn't fear silence. He makes others fear it. Understand this. Silence is not emptiness. It is a mask that allows you to be many things at once. To some, your silence will appear as wisdom. To others, as strength. To your enemies, as danger. People project onto silence what they fear or admire most, and in their projections, you gain control. A Machiavellian man uses silence as a mirror. He lets others speak until they reveal everything, their weakness, their agenda, their insecurities. Meanwhile, he says little, offering nothing in return. By the time the weak man realizes what he has confessed, it is already too late. His words have armed his rival. Silence allows you to observe. It sharpens your ability to see patterns others miss. It keeps you one step ahead because while they talk, you calculate. Silence makes you appear calm when others panic, confident when others doubt, and dangerous when others underestimate. Discipline of silence is most powerful in conflict. In argument, the weak man shouts louder, desperate to be heard, convinced that volume equals strength. But shouting is noise, and noise is weakness. The disciplined man does not shout, he waits. He lets the other man drown in his own noise. And when he finally speaks, it is short, sharp, and final. One sentence can silence an entire room. In negotiation, silence is leverage. The weak rush to fill the space, revealing desperation, conceding too much. The disciplined man holds silence like a blade to the throat of his opponent, forcing them to speak first, forcing them to reveal their position. Silence becomes pressure, and under pressure, the undisciplined always break. In leadership, silence creates gravity. When a ruler speaks rarely, every word carries weight. When he remains silent, his people whisper about what he is thinking, what he is planning, what he will do. Their uncertainty feeds his power. Silence is feared because it removes certainty. The human mind craves answers, craves signals, craves reassurance. When silence denies these, the imagination runs wild. A pause in conversation makes the weak panic. An unanswered question makes them insecure. A calm silence during chaos makes them doubt their own strength. This is the psychology of power. When you master silence, you force others to battle their own minds. They project their fears onto you. They second-guess their decisions. They weaken themselves without you lifting a finger. Silence manipulates not through force, but through absence. But silence is not merely about speech. It is about restraint. Discipline of silence means refusing to reveal your plans too early. It means holding back your emotions instead of spilling them out. It means controlling your presence, your reactions, your energy. When you withhold words, you remain unreadable. When you withhold reactions, you remain unshakable. When you withhold emotions, you remain untouchable. The undisciplined man lives outwardly, constantly displaying his mind, his heart, his fears. The disciplined man lives inwardly, revealing nothing except what he chooses. This is how kings are made. Silence is not just a weapon against others. It is a weapon against yourself. In silence, you hear your own thoughts without distortion. You discover your flaws, your weaknesses, your patterns. You sharpen awareness. This is why the weak avoid silence, because it forces them to face the truth about themselves. But the man of discipline embraces silence because he understands this confrontation is necessary. It is in silence that he shapes his identity. It is in silence that he trains his will. It is in silence that he builds the unbreakable core of his power. Use silence to unnerve your enemies. Use it to dominate negotiations. Use it to magnify your words when you choose to speak. Use it to control your image, to appear wiser, colder, stronger than you truly are. Use it to give weight to your presence, to make others pay attention when you finally break it. But above all, use silence on yourself. cut away the endless chatter, the distractions, the noise that fills your mind. Train yourself to sit in silence for hours, sharpening focus, training patience, building discipline. If you cannot control your own silence, you will never control the silence of others. Silence is not avoidance, it is not passivity, it is strategy. The weak talk, the strong calculate, the weak explain, the strong remain unreadable, the weak shout, the strong wait, then strike once. Machiavelli knew rulers must appear in control, even when chaos surrounds them, and nothing projects control more than calm silence. To master silence is to master perception. To master perception is to master power. So discipline yourself. Speak less. Listen more. Withdraw your words until they are sharp enough to wound. Let your silence become the weight that others cannot bear. Become the man who never explains, never overreacts, never reveals more than he must. In your silence, people will feel fear. In your silence, people will feel respect. In your silence, people will feel power. Now seal this truth in your identity. Comment below, "My silence is my power." Etch it into your words so that it becomes etched into your mind. Because once you embrace the discipline of silence, your voice is no longer wasted. It becomes a weapon, and every weapon in the hands of the disciplined reshapes the world. Number 6. The discipline of adaptability. Rigidity is the death of power. Men who refuse to change break under the weight of reality. They cling to old habits, outdated strategies, and identities that no longer serve them. And when the world shifts, as it always does, they collapse. They curse fate. They blame others. But the truth is simple. They lost because they could not adapt. Discipline is not only the control of self, it is the ability to evolve the self. A man who is disciplined but inflexible will eventually shatter. He is like iron left in the rain, strong but rusting, unable to bend when force is applied. A disciplined man who is also adaptable, however, is like tempered steel. He bends without breaking, adjusts without losing strength, and sharpens himself endlessly. The masses admire consistency. They worship the man who never changes because predictability comforts them. But predictability is not strength, it is exposure. A predictable man is a man who can be controlled. His enemies anticipate his moves. His rivals know his limits. He has no mystery, no flexibility, no room to maneuver. He is trapped by his own identity. The Machiavellian man understands the opposite. True consistency lies in adaptability. His core will never waver. His ambition, his pursuit of power, his discipline remain absolute. But his methods, those change with the wind. When strength is required, he strikes with force. When cunning is required, he hides behind deception. When patience is required, he waits in silence. And when brutality is required, he delivers it without hesitation. Niccolo Machiavelli himself wrote that fortune favors the flexible. A ruler who clings to mercy when cruelty is needed will be destroyed. A ruler who clings to cruelty when diplomacy is demanded will also fall. To survive the game of power, one must be willing to shift masks, to adjust weapons, to become whoever the battlefield demands. The disciplined man is not bound to one form. He is many. History is filled with men who clung to their ways until it killed them. Generals who refused to adjust tactics lost entire armies. Leaders who refused to evolve with the times were overthrown by sharper minds. Kings who clung to tradition were destroyed by innovators who embraced change. The graveyard of history is built from the bones of the inflexible. Consider the man who defines himself by one trait: his strength, his wealth, his charm. When life shifts and that trait is no longer enough, he collapses. He built his empire on sand, and the tide swallowed him whole. But the adaptable man builds himself on bedrock. If his strength fails, his cunning rises. If his wealth is stripped, his strategy remains. If his charm fades, His silence dominates. He is never without weapons. Look around you. The modern world shifts faster than any era before it. Technology, politics, culture, power all move at brutal speed. The man who cannot adapt is left behind, irrelevant, broken. He is a relic of yesterday. But the adaptable man thrives. He bends with the current, but never loses control of his direction. Weak men complain about change. They beg for stability. They cling to the past because it feels safe. But safety is death. Stagnation is decay. Change is the only constant. And the Machiavellian man uses it as fuel. He anticipates it, studies it, prepares for it. When others panic, he adjusts. When others resist, he adapts. And while they fall, he rises. Discipline without adaptability is brittle. It becomes routine for its own sake, habit without purpose. Adaptability sharpens discipline into a weapon. It ensures that every effort, every sacrifice, every moment of focus can be redirected when the terrain shifts. In battle, adaptability means changing tactics to outmaneuver the enemy. In business, it means adjusting strategy to seize opportunity. In life, it means reinventing yourself when the old self no longer serves. The disciplined man does not cling to the past version of himself. He kills it. He sheds his skin again and again, each time returning sharper, colder, more dangerous. Adaptability is not compromise. Compromise is surrender. Adaptability is transformation. The core remains unbroken, but the form evolves endlessly. To the outside world, you may look different, act different, speak different, but within, your will is the same, the relentless pursuit of power. Adaptability terrifies people because it makes you unreadable. They expect you to remain the same, to be fixed, to be predictable. When you change form, they are unsettled. They cannot pin you down. They cannot plan for you, and in their confusion, you gain control. Weak men will call you inconsistent. They will accuse you of being fake, of wearing masks, of changing too much. Let them. Their insults are proof of their own weakness. They cling to one identity because they are too fragile to evolve. They fear change because they know it will break them. You, however, thrive in it. This is why adaptability is a Machiavellian discipline. It makes you untouchable. Rivals cannot anticipate you. Enemies cannot corner you. The world cannot pin you down. You become like water, able to flow around any obstacle, able to crash through when necessary, able to take any form and still remain yourself. Discipline without adaptability is a cage. You may master yourself, but if you cannot shift with the world will crush you. The disciplined and adaptable man, however, is free. He bends when he must, hardens when he must, disappears when he must, and re-emerges when the time is right. He cannot be trapped because he is never the same man twice. This is the law. Remain unshakable in your will, but endlessly flexible in your methods. Be constant in your pursuit of power, but fluid in how you seize it. Shed your old self as many times as needed. Reinvent, reshape, rebirth. The world will never be able to predict you, and what cannot be predicted cannot be defeated. Number 7. The discipline of pain. Pain is the crucible of power. Weak men run from it, hide from it, numb themselves against it. They see pain as punishment, as misfortune, as something to be avoided at all costs. But the Machiavellian mind sees pain differently. Pain is not your enemy. It is your teacher, your forge, your initiation. Pain strips away illusions. Pain exposes truth. And the man who learns to endure it, who learns to bend it into fuel, becomes something far greater than the man who has lived in comfort. Most men live their entire lives avoiding discomfort. They chase comfort like it is salvation. They build their routines around ease, filling their lives with entertainment, indulgence, and distraction, so they never have to face themselves in the fire of struggle. But in their pursuit of comfort, they grow weak. They become fragile, brittle, easy to break. When adversity finally arrives, and it always does, they shatter under the weight of it. The disciplined man is different. He does not avoid pain. He seeks it. He invites it. He understands that pain is proof of progress. Every muscle that grows comes from being torn and rebuilt. Every discipline that strengthens comes from resisting temptation and enduring the sting of denial. Every layer of willpower is forged in the heat of hardship. Pain is not something to be feared. Pain is the signal that you are being remade. Niccolo Machiavelli knew this truth. He studied rulers who grew up soft, sheltered in luxury, surrounded by indulgence. When crisis came, they collapsed. They could not endure the pressure of command, the burden of responsibility, the resistance of rivals. But rulers who had known deprivation, who had walked through hardship, who had faced suffering early, those rulers were dangerous. Hardship had stripped them of softness. Pain had taught them endurance. Suffering had forged them into iron. And when the throne tested them, they did not falter. This is why pain must be embraced as a discipline. It is not enough to suffer by chance. You must suffer by choice. You must train your mind and body to endure willingly, not reluctantly. You must expose yourself to discomfort deliberately, because this is how you build control over yourself. Wake when you are exhausted. Train when you are unmotivated. Work when every part of you craves rest. Each time you override your weakness, each time you bend yourself through pain, you sharpen your will like a blade. Weak men look at discipline and see suffering. They complain that it is too hard, too demanding, too painful. But their avoidance is exactly why they remain weak. By running from pain, they are running from the very process that would transform them. They pay for comfort with mediocrity. They trade short-term relief for lifelong weakness. They waste away in the softness of their own making. The disciplined man, however, understands that pain is the greatest currency. Each hardship endured is an investment. Each struggle survived is proof. Every scar tells the world that you were tested and you did not break. This is why pain must not only be endured, but welcomed. Because pain is not punishment. It is refinement. The man who has walked through fire fears no flame. The man who has bled in training does not tremble in battle. The man who has endured the worst can remain calm when others panic. Discipline demands that you treat pain as a tool. Physical pain builds resilience. Emotional pain builds detachment. Psychological pain builds clarity. Together, they forge the kind of man who cannot be shaken. The undisciplined man crumbles at insult, collapses at rejection, retreats at failure. But the disciplined man does not. He welcomes insult because it hardens his mind. He welcomes rejection because it builds indifference to approval. He welcomes failure because it exposes weakness and gives him the chance to sharpen further. Pain is also the great equalizer. Wealth, status, and privilege can protect men from many things, but they cannot protect them from suffering forever. Sooner or later, pain comes for everyone. Illness, betrayal, loss, failure, no man escapes. The difference lies in preparation. The weak man who has lived for comfort is destroyed when pain finally arrives. The disciplined man who has trained in discomfort, who has endured pain by choice, meets it calmly. He has already mastered it. Think of the man who trains his body with iron. The weight hurts, it tears muscle, it burns. But through that pain, his strength grows. The same is true for the mind. Discipline requires that you place yourself under the weight of hardship. Long hours of work, relentless focus, denial of indulgence, resisting temptation. These things sting, they ache, they burn. But in that pain, power is built. Comfort builds nothing. Pain builds everything. The undisciplined man is terrified of pain because he believes it defines him. The disciplined man embraces pain because he knows it refines him. He does not ask for an easy path. He asks for a path that tests him. because only through the test does he prove he is worthy of power. Weakness is revealed in avoidance. Strength is revealed in endurance. Understand this. Suffering is not the end, it is the beginning. Pain is not destruction, it is transformation. The world worships comfort, but comfort corrupts. The world fears pain, but pain purifies. And those who embrace it become something beyond ordinary men. They become untouchable. So discipline yourself to see pain differently. When it arrives, do not complain. Do not beg for relief. Do not hide. Face it. Study it. Use it. Each hardship becomes a stone in the foundation of your power. Each scar becomes armor. Each trial becomes proof that you cannot be broken. There is no throne without scars. There is no crown without hardship. The law of power is simple. The man who embraces pain will rule the man who avoids it. And when the moment comes that you stand above the masses, stronger, colder, more disciplined, it will not be because life spared you suffering. It will be because you embraced it, endured it, and turned it into a weapon. Number 8. The discipline of perception. Power is not only about who you are, it is about how you are seen. Men bow not to reality, but to belief. They obey not truth, but appearance. You can be strong, but if you appear weak, they will treat you as weak. You can be brilliant, but if you appear uncertain, they will dismiss you as a fool. The disciplined man understands this. He does not simply build strength, he builds an image. He does not only master himself, he masters how the world perceives him. Weak men make the fatal mistake of thinking authenticity is enough. They believe that being true to themselves will earn them respect. But authenticity without refinement is weakness exposed. If your true self is sloppy, if your true self is insecure, if your true self is undisciplined, then authenticity will not elevate you. It will destroy you. The world does not reward the raw self. It rewards the sculpted self, the curated mask, the perception you project with ruthless precision. Machiavelli understood this deeply. He wrote that it is not necessary for a ruler to be truly virtuous, only to appear virtuous. Not necessary to be merciful, only to appear merciful when it serves. Not necessary to be fearless, only to appear fearless when others need reassurance. Men do not peer into the depths of your soul. They see only the mask you place before them. And if you control the mask, you control their belief. This is the law of perception. Appearance becomes reality in the minds of the masses. To them, perception is reality. A disciplined man exploits this with cruelty. He shapes his presence with intention. Every gesture, every silence, every word is calculated. Nothing is accidental. Nothing is wasted. The weak stumble into the world unprepared, leaking their fears and insecurities with every movement. The disciplined enter the world armored in perception, letting nothing escape that does not serve their rise. Think of the leaders who have ruled history. Many were not the strongest, not the most intelligent, not even the most capable, but they understood image. They projected confidence when they doubted, control when chaos surrounded them, calm when fear threatened to consume everyone else. Their power was not always in what they were, but in what they appeared to be. And in the eyes of others, appearance was enough. The masses are blind. They are not thinkers, they are feelers. They respond to symbols, to impressions, to illusions. They see a man stand tall, speak with calm certainty, and they assume he must know more, be more, command more. They see a man falter in speech, slouch in posture, or display nerves, and they assume he must be weak, regardless of what truth lies beneath. This is why perception must be guarded ruthlessly. Because people do not care about your reality. They care about how your reality looks to them. The undisciplined man destroys himself through carelessness. He talks too much, explains too much, reveals too much. He wears his heart on his sleeve, exposing emotions to those who will exploit them. He shows his fear, his anger, his desperation, and wonders why others do not respect him. He believes respect comes from honesty, but respect does not come from honesty. It comes from power, and power is projected, not confessed. Discipline of perception means restraint. It means learning when to speak, and when silence is the sharper weapon. It means controlling your body, your voice, your presence. It means removing sloppy habits that betray uncertainty. It means moving with intention, as though every action is being watched, because it is. You are always being observed, judged, calculated. The disciplined man never forgets this. He lives in awareness, not paranoia, but precision. He understands that every moment is an opportunity to strengthen the mask or to crack it. Perception creates mystery, and mystery is irresistible. When you say little, when you reveal less, people speculate. They wonder what you are thinking, what you are planning, what you are hiding. They invent stories, project fantasies, imagine dangers, and all the while you say nothing. Their imagination becomes your weapon. Their uncertainty becomes your control. This is why the Machiavellian man embraces unreadability. When others cannot define you, they cannot defeat you, but perception must be consistent. A single slip can destroy months of careful projection. One act of desperation, one careless word, one moment of weakness, and the mask can crack. This is why discipline must be relentless. You cannot afford to relax the mask. Even in private, you must maintain control, because habits in private become exposures in public. The weak believe they can separate the two. They think they can live undisciplined in the shadows and somehow project discipline in the light. But perception is built on repetition. What you are in private leaks into what you appear in public. So guard your perception at all times. Speak less, but with impact. Move slowly, but with certainty. Dress with intention, for even your appearance speaks before your mouth opens. Enter every space with the weight of presence, as if the room itself bends slightly when you arrive. And when you leave, let your absence feel like a gap, as though something powerful has departed. This is not accident. This is not ego. This is strategy. The masses will always mistake appearance for truth. Use this. Let them believe you are more patient than you are. Let them believe you are more merciful than you are. Let them believe you are more dangerous than you are. If they believe it, it becomes true in their behavior toward you. They will hesitate, they will respect, they will obey. Perception rules action, and action rules the world. Control of perception also requires cold detachment from the need to be understood. Weak men crave to be seen for who they really are. They beg for recognition, for validation, for appreciation of their authenticity. But discipline demands the opposite. You do not beg to be seen, you choose how to be seen. You do not wait for others to understand. You give them only what you want them to understand. Perception is not about honesty, it is about power, and power requires masks. The world will call this deception. Let them. The world is ruled by illusions. Nations are bound by flags, colored cloth that men are willing to die for. Religions are bound by symbols, by stories, by appearances of truth. Money itself is paper and numbers, yet it commands entire civilizations. Illusion has always ruled reality. To reject this is to reject the nature of power itself. To master it is to rule. So discipline yourself to wear the right mask at the right time. Do not show mercy until mercy serves you. Do not show cruelty until cruelty is required. Do not show fear, ever. Do not show desperation, ever. Show only what strengthens your position. Become unreadable. Become untouchable. Become the man whose silence weighs heavier than the crowd's shouting, whose stillness speaks louder than their noise, whose presence demands obedience without words. Perception is your armor. It is the shield that hides your flaws, the blade that sharpens your image, the cloak that makes you untouchable. With it, you can walk into any battlefield already half victorious. Without it, even your true strength will be ignored, doubted, or disrespected. Remember this truth. Men do not obey reality. They obey their perception of reality. And if you control their perception, you control their obedience. Discipline of perception is not about pretending to be what you are not. It is about ensuring that what others see always serves your rise. Build your mask with discipline. Polish it with silence. Protect it with control. Let the world see what you choose, and nothing more. And when the time comes to strike, the image you have built will already have won half the battle for you. Number 9. The discipline of legacy. Legacy is the final discipline. Comfort dies with you. Pleasure vanishes with you. But discipline lives on after you. Weak men are forgotten. Strong men are remembered. What you build through sacrifice, silence, control, and adaptability becomes immortal. Flesh decays, but reputation endures. That is the highest form of power. So build yourself into something that cannot be erased. Let every act, every word, every sacrifice sharpen your mark on the world. The body may end, but the legacy of discipline does not. If this struck you, like the video, it shows strength. Share it with those who need discipline, not comfort. Subscribe to Rhythm and turn on notifications because every lesson ahead will forge you sharper, colder, untouchable.